welcome to a special mini edition of the Cybersecurity Matters podcast. I'm Dominic Vogel, and joining me as always is my charming co-host, Christian Redshaw. Christian, I don't think we have any guests today, but what should we riff about?
Well, I guess with that introduction, we might as well just get into the topic today. So the topic, I mean, to me, it's just a very simple topic, and it's just strategic discussion that organizations should be having at the leadership level, whether that is the executive director, the board of directors, or the C-suite. And that is, of course, the topic of cyber risk and cybersecurity. Now, we have, cyber attacks at an unprecedented level, and if something bad happens to your organization, you stand to lose a lot. If you think about your information systems and what is contained within those information systems, that's valuable to your members, to your clients, to your customers, and to you in terms of your sensitive information and your IP. So we don't want bad things to happen. And so let's get into the nitty-gritty about how much you're willing to tolerate of your information being breached, or your systems being down due to a cyber attack or a data breach. So there's a couple of questions that need to be asked at the leadership level, and we're just going to get into those two today. There are more we could get into, but let's pick the top two. And it's a concept called Maximum Tolerable Downtime. So Dominic, can you define what that is and why that's important at a strategic level to answer that question?
Absolutely, Christian. And it's what I refer to as the crying uncle point. At what point can your organization tolerate not being able to access its key IT systems or its critical data? Maybe it's 6 hours, maybe it's a day, maybe it's 2 days. At what point will people be screaming uncle at their breaking point, willing to pay anything to be able to regain access to those IT systems or data? Knowing what that is beforehand is absolutely critical. That has to be defined beforehand. So that would be number one.
Right. So the number two question, I guess you can ask this in a number of ways, and please do, Dominic, but how many data breaches, how many cyber incidents are you willing to tolerate, and how long in between cyber incidents are you willing to accept as an organization? So expand on that a little bit.
You bet. And again, it's so important again when we're talking about defining, how successful security is. So an extension of this is that as an executive or member of a board, you can't have we will never have a data breach mentality. That's setting yourself up for failure. That's like saying, I'm never going to get sick over a 20-year period, right? That's just a fact of life. You're going to get sick. That's now a fact of life in our business life that organizations will suffer data breaches. But what you need to be able to have is be able to, what's referred to as anticipate the data breach, and be able to say, okay, let's say over a 10-year period, how many data breaches are we willing to tolerate as an organization? Is that one every 10 years? Two over a 10-year period, or maybe even reframing a different way. As an organization, we're good with a data breach once every 5 years or once every 13 years or what have you. When you're able to define that as a period, or that tolerance level, then you're able to better dictate what your security strategy and what your security spend should be. So as an organization, if you're saying, we can only tolerate a data breach once every 20 years, okay, you're going to have a far different spend and level of investment than an organization that says, we're cool having a data breach every other year. That's a very different mindset and a security spend there. So you need to be able to answer those questions to truly have the most efficient use of your security budget and be truly effective with your security spend as well.
Very good. So these really are budget questions and strategic questions that have to do with what is your appetite for accepting cyber risk. And if you're not asking these questions, really your appetite is the same as a person going into McDonald's and saying, I'll have every single combo on the menu and just give me one of everything. So hopefully these questions here are going to get the conversation started for you and get you walking along the path to a more effectively managed cybersecurity program.
Yep, and skip on the filet-o-fish. That's truly disgusting.
Except for that. That's fair.
But as always, we're just wrapping up today's mini episode. We want to make sure that we thank our loyal listeners and viewers for spending a few minutes with us today. Please do check out previous episodes on the Cybersecurity Matters YouTube page, and do check out other podcasts under the Conversations That Matter banner. But until next time, be well, be safe, and we'll catch you next time on the Cybersecurity Matters podcast.